Guys, we need to talk about airborne effectiveness. Now, I know we've already made a ton of video talking about this, but Bungie did actually give us some clues from the most recent TWAB about the future of airborne effectiveness. We also have a number of tweets from the likes of Mercules and some insight on what's to come for our dear old airborne effectiveness. Now, stated from the recent TWAB, this was kind of like toward the end of the TWAB, Bungie said a large rebalance of the airborne effectiveness stats would be coming in the future, and that they would be making primary ammo weapons significantly more accurate while airborne without any investment in the stats. They're going to say that think Icarus level accuracy from before season 17. Specifics are still in development. Now, this is a huge one because essentially what Bungie's saying right here is that this is going to be a reversal of sorts to airborne effectiveness on primary weapons. And if there's one thing we've complained about, it's not the airborne effectiveness on our special weapons. We understand that. Being inaccurate with your shotgun when flying at Mach 5 through the air, that makes sense. But our toes suddenly coming off the ground and our hand cannon suddenly can't land shots, that doesn't make sense. And there's many points throughout Destiny where that's the case. And I know I'm kind of like beating a dead horse here. I feel like every video we make is about airborne effectiveness, but I cannot overstate it enough. Guys, it's just not a good system. Now, taking to Twitter, Mercules actually gave a few more responses, which was actually in reply to another creator in the community, Bungie. But Bungie actually stated, surely if you have to keep reworking a system and changing it significantly, it's a sign that said system is fundamentally flawed and should be removed. Looking at you, AE. Mercules actually replied to this, stating that that is definitely not the case, and there are many real-world and in-game examples that run counter to that idea. Almost no system goes out the door. Perfect. We keep working on AE because we believe it offers more to the sandbox than the very limited system we previously had. He goes on to state that we are well aware of the feedback about the current iteration, and we're making extensive changes to address it. I promise you, no one wants to see it out and live and looking great than the people working on it. Now, I do want to add to this, obviously, the people working on it, like, we're not trying to trash what could potentially be like the #1 thing you've been working on, because there's somebody at Bungie right now that's been working on airborne effectiveness that's like, yo, this is my baby. I love this. I can't wait to show the Destiny community. And ever since then, we've been pretty much pooping on it left and right. And although I do applaud the hard work put in, we're not pooping on it for no reason. It's just not a good system. Now, again, based on the TWAB, don't expect this to actually change until Lightfall. Granted, we could be in a situation like they were in last time where they had to make these sandbox changes early because of the community. So who knows? Maybe something like airborne effectiveness could actually be changed earlier on. And again, guys, all we're really asking here is exactly what was listed in the TWAB. We want Icarus level accuracy from before season 17, but primarily on our primary weapons. Every one of us can get behind grounding shotguns more to a certain extent, sniper rifles, fusion rifles, etc. Any of those one-hit kill special weapons, obviously you have to contain them in some ways. But everything about airborne effectiveness was actually meant to address two issues at the same time. People using movement exotics, stompies, doom marchers, and transversive steps, and people overusing aerial gameplay, most notably hoppity hunters with the likes of shotguns. Unfortunately, this has hurt primary weapons the most. Now, the problem with this too is that Bungie's entire like rework system that they brought up about this TWAB, they're like, we're reworking 27 exotics or something, which by all means, like, I love seeing any type of rework done to exotics. But the fact that Whisper made the list and it's like, ooh, Whisper of the Worm has a change coming. They're increasing the base airborne effectiveness to 80. Come on! What? Like, don't get me wrong. If I wanted to air snipe while inside of PvE, it is nice I'll be able to do that with Whisper. Who actually does that though? But okay. But the fact that that even makes the list, right? And the same also applies to Darcy, which I do like that Darcy is going to be able to apply Jolt, but many people wanted Darcy to be used as a special sniper rifle. And it was funny that Bungie even stated that there's plenty of competition for sniper rifles there in the energy slot, but not amongst exotics, maybe amongst legendaries. But what do we got? Cloud Strike? Okay, I'll admit, Cloud Strike's pretty good. But outside of Cloud Strike and Borealis in the energy slot, that's all we got. We've got Izanagi's Burden in our kinetic slot, and that's it, man. Darcy could easily have been moved to the energy slot and just been an energy sniper rifle. And the way it even moves, guys, it doesn't even move like a heavy sniper rifle. It's just not a heavy hitter. That's not what it's meant to be. And for my folks going across, we don't need any more sniper rifles. Look, back inside of Destiny 1, you know how many exotic sniper rifles we had? We had Zen Meteor, Icebreaker, Hereafter, Patience in Time, No Land Beyond, Chaperone. Okay, that's not a sniper rifle, but it might as well have been. We had a ton of accessible sniper rifles in the energy slot. I just feel like that's just an area that Bungie has just not really dived back into. And I'm not saying for them to just go out there and be like, yo, here's No Land Beyond, although I'm pretty sure most of you would like jump for joy. Also, Zen Meteor, it's kind of a touchy subject considering it was a PS exclusive. Not saying that's gonna happen again, even though Bungie literally just signed a deal with Sony. Regardless though, we're missing some sniper rifles. So seeing Darcy move to the energy slot would have been pretty cool. Regardless though, some of the weapons that made that list, the reworks were, you know, increased airborne effectiveness, which leaves most of us scratching our head wondering why that even exists anyways. What we do know though, guys, is that this is definitely on Bungie's radar, and rightfully so. It's driven a lot of PvP players away, and I would argue and say even more so than skill-based matchmaking. Don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily like skill-based matchmaking, but truthfully speaking here, if I had to choose one or the other, I would choose for Airborne Effectiveness to be reversed before skill-based matchmaking. That's how much I don't like the system. On top of that, for my PvE players, I don't know if you guys have been complaining, but come on, you can't say you like Airborne Effectiveness either. I mean, sometimes in the Light Blade Strike, you have to take to the air. Now you take to the air, and your weapons are less accurate. Now, despite all of this, there is one silver lining to Airborne Effectiveness. Turns out, it's been affecting cheaters pretty substantially. There's actually some gameplay put up by Lucky that showcase a guy using aimbot while in the air with like an automatic sniper rifle, and look how many shots this man was missing. Mother of God. Bungie's 10,000 IQ move here was actually to affect snipers in the hands of aimbotters. The overwhelming concern though, and I will say this, is a concern of mine, is that the damage has been done and that the system in place is just one of those systems that you just can't undo incrementally without removing. Hence the whole conversation we've had surrounding gunplay inside of Destiny just changing fundamentally, and it has changed. And this does bring up the question of cost. How much cost is actually being allocated here to this system? And again, not trying to crap on anything Bungie's working on, but some people have brought up how quickly would Bungie have addressed certain exotic bugs, most notably with new exotics that launch every single season, or even the dungeon bug for duality. How quickly would those things have been addressed had Airborne Effectiveness not been something that's constantly being retuned just about every single season? It's clear from the very get that this is a system folks do not like. And the fact that it's being thrown on exotics as a means of an exotic rework or an exotic buff just doesn't count, man. It's just not the same. We didn't want Airborne Effectiveness on Whisper. We wanted more damage, Bungie. And we didn't want Darcy to have Airborne Effectiveness. We simply wanted it to be moved to the energy slot. So guys, those are my thoughts on everything. What we do know for sure is at the end of the day, primary weapons, which was my biggest concern, that is looking to be reversed. And what's so beautiful about this, it almost sounds like it's going to be reversed in a way where Icarus won't even be required. Is the system though really going to be better? Pre-season 17 better? Or will the sandbox always have remnants of that Airborne Effectiveness change? And whether it's connections getting worse inside of Destiny 2's PvP, or pretty much throughout the game entirely, maybe it's the higher amounts of net limiters, maybe skill-based matchmaking is causing our connections to be funky, or perhaps it's the fact that Airborne Effectiveness has substantially changed the way gunplay feels in Destiny, and in doing so has disrupted the magic that has held us down in this game for so very long. It's a system that needs to be addressed quickly, and I hope it's not something that's going to be put off until Lightfall. I'm glad Bungie's looking at it. I love the conversation between devs at Bungie, like Mercules, is taking place over on Twitter, and I do ask guys to please be kind. Don't go flaming devs. I can promise you the conversation will shut down, and that's not good for any of us. With that being said, this is my final video on Airborne Effectiveness. I'm never talking about it again, at least until Bungie brings it up. I'm serious, guys. This is it. I'm tired of talking about it. It's literally kept me up at night. I literally say it in my sleep. I'm done. This is it. I'm walking away from this. Airborne Effectiveness, it's still in the game. It's looking to be dealt with by at least Lightfall. That's it. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.